Hello and welcome everyone to Global Party Healed on all levels. This wonderful conversation is with beautiful Melody Chatamoya.
Hi everyone.
Melody is born and raised in Zimbabwe, living in Ireland now, creating love wherever she goes. And we are joined by one of her friends and, well, a budding person that has loving questions that's going to just ask away so Melody can give you all some clarity on some tangible, specific results. So welcome, Patience. How are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Jackie. How are you?
Very well, thanks. And you two are in Ireland?
We are, yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so we're going to start here with Melody. And Melody, in creating love, you do much more than that in your, everyday life. One of the things you like to do is dance. And what song did you pick to dance to?
Uptown Funk.
Okay, let's play a piece of that.
Ice cold, Michelle fight for that white gold. This one for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces. Stylin', wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with Saint Laurent. Gotta kiss myself, I'm so pretty. I'm too hot. Call the police and the fireman. I'm too hot. Make a dragon wanna retire, man. I'm too hot. Say my name, you know who I am. I'm too hot. I'm a band about that, let's break it down.
Go on.
Okay, no, all right. Oh, the music stopped. How about that? No. Just kidding. Okay. But that's how it kind of happened for you, didn't it, Melody? The music stopped.
Yes, it did.
And
For a while.
would you like to share with the viewers how really you've transformed, healed from the inside out, because the day the music stopped for you before you started to dance again with us?
So for me, the music stopped the day my husband died. And it started to stop, to pause, as I could see that he wasn't going to survive the illness. He had cancer, and I could see him going further and further away from me. And then when he died on the 17th of November, I'll never forget that date, a week after his birthday and mine, I felt like I died with him. It was painful. It was the worst pain I've ever felt, because nobody tells you that grief is physical, it's emotional, and it's spiritual as well. I don't actually like to go there at all, because I don't think I can ever really capture how I felt at the time. I was traumatized. I was so traumatized that a therapist met me one day in a waiting room, and she approached me and she said to me that, I'm available anytime if you want to talk to me. I just want you to know that my services are available for you. And later on, as I started to find my music again, I asked her why she approached me, because that was so surprising. And she said that when she saw my face, she thought that I would not survive if she had not done something. And I agree with her, because it hurt really bad. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't taste food. And I couldn't sleep for 2.5 years. And I just had to keep myself going as little as I could. And then one day, for the first 3 months, I just wanted to die. I didn't even think about the fact that I was a mother. Even though everybody tried really hard to remind me, I just wanted to be gone. And then when I decided I wanted to leave, then I vowed to myself that if I'm going to live, I'm going to survive, I'm going to be the best mother I can be. I'm going to show my girls that, yes, bad things happen, but you pick yourself up, you do your best, you have fun, you get music back into your life, and you survive because you owe yourself that. So I got help. I don't want to say I did it by myself. I had 2 therapists at some point, and then I dropped the other one because we were just not gelling. She wasn't helping me. But the other one really helped me. But the 2 therapists said something that really touched me at the time. Because you know how they say when you are dying, you remember every second of your life?
Right.
They don't tell you that when you are so connected to the person who dies, you remember every second of your life with that person as well. I'm just telling you, that was my experience. And so I remembered everything. The first time I saw him, every conversation, everything. So I relived, like it was a reel of, stuff. So I talked about us a lot during those days. And my therapist would say to me, your relationship was really amazing. And I kind of said, what do you mean? And they said, nobody is that happy. Nobody is blessed to have that much happiness in their relationship. Initially, I just dismissed it because I really believe that, people get married, they have issues, they sort them out, and they live in happily ever after. And I grew up and discovered that's not true. And so I decided, as I was recovering, that I wanted to play tribute. Oh, crap.
You're still on.
Sorry, I can't see you. Sorry.
It's okay.
You have to edit that out. To play tribute to my marriage and play tribute to my marriage by teaching other women how to recover, because I started looking at the fact that my marriage had survived, was almost failing at some point, and then we started thriving. And I started looking at what did I do to get to that point. And then when I figured out what I did, then I decided I would teach other women how to do that. So that's why I teach people how to have joy in their relationships.
That is quite an experience you've had. And I was tearing up as you were talking. So thank you for sharing that. I do want to make one point before we get in, is for so many people that are watching now, is right now in the world, there are many people that might have that look on their face that you did. That first person said, I felt like I needed to say something, or I didn't know if you would survive, right?
Yeah.
And the conversation on, mental health starts when we notice with somebody. So thankfully she noticed within you. Because of that, you were able to begin your journey to stay alive and now help others realize how wonderful love is. Because as you said, you did have that moment in your relationship where you actually, although you had a great relationship, there was a moment where you were like, I'm out of here.
Yeah. I was, yeah. And I told him, I told his parents, I told my parents that I was leaving him. Because I believe in joy a lot. And even in looking for healing in my personal life after he died, I was still looking for that joy. And when joy is not there, I feel like there's no point in living. So when I found him, when I discovered that we were not happy in my relationship, I thought the solution was to leave him, because it was all his fault. And then yeah, but I couldn't just leave because we were living in Ireland, and I was in college. I was doing my master's. I was working. We had a small baby, it wasn't practical for me to just leave. So my mom said, and he wasn't abusing me or anything. We were just not happy. And we were very kind and loving towards each other, actually, now that I'm looking from, years later. At the time, I didn't see that. So I decided to stay for a while I equipped myself financially to leave. And while I was doing that, I started trying to figure out how we could even have a bit of peace while we were living together. And I started
Hello?
Hello? Yes?
and yeah, so, and the conflict stage was stacking a lot, but I was happy to discuss. So I started working towards getting there. Yeah.
So you've had, many experiences, but in that process of going from maybe considering divorce to having this wonderful relationship to being so hurt and traumatized by his passing, you've really been able to realize how great a relationship you had, what worked in the relationship, and you're able to help others transform their relationship.
Yeah. And actually, initially, that's what pissed me off. Sorry to use that word. But yeah, I was pissed. I was really angry initially, but sometimes I was really pissed off because I had done all the work. I had fixed my marriage and it was perfect. And then, yeah, he died. How dare he? I remember saying to someone, so what do I do with all this? What's the point? What was the point of me learning all that? What do I do with it? It doesn't help anyone now. But now I can help other people. I can help people find love within themselves and find love with each other. And I can find love for myself as well, because now I know how to do it. I know how to do it so much that I don't have to go through the trauma that I went through to learn all those things that I learned that make relationships work.
So you made lemonade out of lemons.
Yes, I did.
Hey, and that was just something else. I just found out that Beyonce, when she did Lemonade song, it was because he cheated and she was crashing the car. I didn't know that part of the story. She made lots of lemonade out of those.
She did, yeah.
Out of those lemons. Okay, so let's sort of get some questions going here. So Patience, I believe, has got some question that probably a lot of people have, because you love your husband or your partner, but they're just not doing it your way. Are they, Patience?
Not really.
So what's going on, girlfriend?
Okay, so I just want to ask a question there. Actually, I want to go back to the lemonade thing, your analogy. I always say, if life throws you lemons, don't make lemonade. Chuck the lemons back at life and grow oranges.
Okay, but so when does a lemon actually become an orange?
Yeah.
Well, sometimes you have to start from planting it. You can take a seedling and plant it from a seed. Depends where you're at. Or you can graft an orange. So there's different ways of growing an orange tree. Or you can just transplant one that's already been there. So it just depends on how big the problem is or where you need to start from. Sometimes you can start from the seed, you can graft, or you transplant a tree.
Yeah, like I did not make lemonade. I went for the orange tree. Okay? So I'll just, I'll go with that one.
Okay. So anyway, my question, Melody, is just around love language.
Mm-hmm.
So for instance, my partner is more the doing person. He shows love by doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I love to hear things. I love to have the confirmation that I'm loved, I'm cared for. He wants to show it. And I find there can be a lot of conflict there. So how do we break middle ground?
Okay. I like it. I like it. I like you, Patience. I think you're awesome. You're fabulous. I love you, that type of stuff. That's what you want to hear, right? You want to say, honey, I can't live without you. And he's like, I'm working hard for the money.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
And most men, I don't know whether it's a love language or it's training. Most men are trained to provide. They're trained to do practical things for a woman. That's what they do. And if they're not doing that, they don't feel like they're men at all. And independent women find that really hard. That's besides the whole love language thing. That's just the practicality. And I am going to flip it a bit and say, when someone is being who they are, love says you need to learn to live with who they are. I'll give you an example. Taura used to be a person who would think a lot. So if I wanted him to make a decision about something I needed him to contribute to, I would ask him 2 weeks before I need the answer. Because otherwise, what would happen would be like, have you thought about that? Have you thought about that? Would it? And he'll get frustrated and I'll get angry or frustrated, and then we have fights. So part of loving someone is learning to see them the way they see themselves. It's not easy, but it avoids a lot of conflict. And some of it is ask. I need you to provide this for me. This is my version of provision. I like it when you tell me stuff, you know, because most men of integrity don't like to tell women things they can't stand on.
Okay.
Like telling you words either they don't truly believe or they feel like if they are feeling a bit insecure within themselves, they can't tell you what you want to hear because they don't believe it yet. Do you understand that?
So are you saying that they don't love me enough to tell me that they love me?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Okay.
He loves you, but his way of loving you or how he shows it is what's going to drive him to say the words. So he loves you, but he's going to show you in the words. But if he's not able to provide the practical way to show that he loves you, saying the words is like he's cheating. He's just saying it, but he can't stand over the words because he is not there where he wants to be yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I'm just going to add something on that one because I could see my mother and my father in there,
yeah.
But also my father, from my standpoint, my father was very much a provider and a doer,
Mm-hmm.
and he did exceptionally well. And I knew that's how he showed his love. He never told me that he loved me. Okay. Now, until, I don't know, maybe 5 years ago, like I would start to say, I could say, I love you, Dad. I mean, and then finally it's like, how, one day it was like, you know, he said like, can you, I would like almost make a joke about it. I'm like, I love you. Can you say it?
Yeah. Yeah.
And he'd be like, you know, okay. And it started that way, and then it got to the point where he actually said it once, and he said it a couple times, and he's told my daughters. But what he's been really clear on is he feels like people use their words too flippantly.
Yeah.
And they say, I love you, I love you, I love you, and use words to get things instead of truly meaning it. And that's for him. So he said, I'll say it here and there. I'm comfortable enough to say it now, but I want to show you I love you in ways of being there for you.
Yeah.
Because that's real.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But what impact then has it got on the other person who wants to be told?
You ask. That's why I said you have to sit down. Yeah. So here's what most women would do if they want something from a man. One, they assume he's going to know what to say. And then if he doesn't know what to say, they will punish him for it. And then if they still don't get what they want, then they will scream at him one day, out of the blue, when they're having a fight that's nothing to do with what this issue is, which is very confusing to most men. So what you should do is, when you are happy, when you're all settled and everything's fun and great, tell him what you need. It will give me so much joy. It actually will use the word provide. It will provide something for me if you say the words. If you tell me you love me regularly, if you tell me I'm important to you regularly, if you appreciate me regularly, that is what provides love for me. And I can guarantee you he will start to say that.
I'll try that.
Well, here, so is there something in particular, in specific? Is it the I love you? Is it just low on all positive affirmations? Like, you can get dressed for an outing and you think you look smashing, and all you want him to say was, "Wow, honey, you're sexy."
I don't think it's on the small things like that. It's more, to be exact, I'm more a thinker. I like to be well prepared and planned. So it's being given that reassurance that we'll be okay. I've got you. As opposed to somebody then looking at, I'll provide this and provide that. I'm just saying, emotionally, will I be okay? So it's not really in the small things, as in, oh, you look well, or well done on that, but in the bigger things, the bigger picture of life.
Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you right now. If you keep going down that road, you're going through a slippery slope. This is what life has taught me when I died. There are no guarantees in life, my dear. You are not going to be okay as long as you don't trust you. You have to trust you and your choices. You cannot trust anyone else, or not. I'm not saying cannot trust anyone else to provide what you need. I am saying they might even give it to you, but if you are not okay and you don't trust yourself, you won't see it, you won't feel it, you won't even recognize it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to understand that life is not, there are no guarantees in life. Life is it's life. It's good today, you appreciate it. That's why we have to be grateful for every second of every day, because you don't know. He can't even give you the reassurance that you need. And I think it's unusually unfair to expect a man to give that.
But is it normal for women to want that kind of assurance?
Well, no.
Okay, I think, hold on. I'm the audience now at this point, and I'm still unclear of what the assurance is. And I tend to have a more masculine kind of thing a lot of times. Mm-hmm. So I could be like your husband now going, what the frig are you talking about?
Yes, exactly. Like, what are you talking about?
So what do you mean by emotional security? Aren't I there for you, baby? Like, I don't get it. You have to elaborate.
I'm trying to think of an example that is not too
too personal. I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So, for instance, if you're moving house and you're moving away into a place where you know nobody, but two of you, so you want that assurance that we are emotionally sound here, whereas maybe the other person is more focused on the practicality and not looking at the emotional aspect, that you need to feel secure as well. But maybe you are giving them that emotional security of, we'll be okay. But they're more focused on the practical of what room goes there, and where's the school, and where's the house, where's the money going to come from, where's the food going to come from, which is only a part of the moving. There is the whole relationship as well, because you're moving away from your support network. Mm-hmm. And the only people that are there is maybe the two of you. So that's kind of an example I'm going to throw there.
Okay, I want to give you another example. I got married you are Zimbabwean, so you understand. I'm from Mashingo. That's where I grew up. I got married in Rusape. They're very strange over there. really weird. And so when I moved, when I was going there, and you know what they do? They actually take you and leave you there, right? When I was going there, I had only one assurance inside me. I loved my husband, and my love for him was enough to sustain us. That's all I cared about. When a man is doing practical things, like it would be worrying if he had quit his job and started smoking marijuana and saying, I'm waiting for patients to come. That's worrying, okay? If he's saying, where are we going to live? What are we going to eat? What are the practical things that I can provide? That's actually his way of saying, if I provide that, you are going to be okay. You are going to be safe, so we are going to be okay. Jacqueline, you can weigh in on this one.
Yeah, and I guess, look at what happened, right? Death is one of those things that happens in life, right? So as much as there could be emotional stability and security saying, I'm here for you, Melody, I'm all of a sudden he wasn't there anymore for her, right? And from my perspective, that's where roots have to go really deep into what you believe about God or your higher power, because the moments where you're basically the carpet is pulled out from underneath you. It's like Melody saying, I've done all this work, it looks really great, and then poof, you're gone. My life is gone. Now what? Those are the moments that you have to be able to have something inside yourself that, in a sense, wants to reach for the light or the love or the truth. And it still was very difficult for Melody, but it gave her that journey. Whereas if for people that don't even have that, I think when the carpet gets pulled out from underneath them, they might never get up. So as much as your husband wants to give you emotional stability by doing the practical things, by saying, like, that would be like my dad. I kind of think, and I'm just going to give this patience, is they were married for 63 years. They were together for 68, okay? And the last few years of my mother's life, I would say she still had yet to come to terms with the way my father showed her love. So he provided for her, he gave her a great life, they traveled, he was every birthday, every anniversary, he did all the things he knew to do, that he could do, that he felt comfortable with, to tell her, I love you, here's the blah, blah, blah. But she still somehow felt that he didn't. And so part of her ailing ailments while she was lying in bed, I knew she just liked the attention that she felt she was finally getting from my father. Yeah. And I was like, is this really the attention you want? That he's really Googling, trying to figure out what's wrong with you, and taking you back and forth to doctor's appointments and bringing you tea in bed, right? Like, is that ultimately the attention you want? Because you got his full attention, but he always had the attention, but now you have it and you're not even getting to really participate in. Yeah. So healing from the inside out and healed on all levels is about really, it's here, right? So what do we feel that are missing? And I think that's one of the things is we always want our partner to change, and my hand would go up all the time. And ultimately the gift is to realize, for me, what do I really believe and deserve about love? And Melody has been great in our conversations about what is love and creating love, and how are our day-to-day conversations and actions really embodying that and being that in our life.
Every relationship you have, every one of them, even with your children, it's all faith. Because you can have kids, you can love them to the last of your bones, you can do everything for them. It doesn't mean they're going to turn out right for you. They might turn out right for them, but not for you. So everything that you do, especially that has something to do with your relationship with another human being, it's all based on faith. faith that everything is going to turn out right. I think it's Dr. Phil who talks about how much do you trust yourself?
Yeah.
Do you trust yourself enough that if it all goes pear-shaped, you pick yourself up and survive? Because that's what I did. I have said to myself, if I was to meet another man, I don't date guys anymore, I need men. If I meet another man and we connect and I love him as openly as I'm able to love, because I don't limit myself. If he dies before I do, will I be able to survive? And I've said it to my friends, to my family, to myself, that yes, because if you had told me, even my mother told me that when after 2 years of me dating Tara, we dated for 6 years, but after 2 years, my mom said, you know, Melody, I'm really worried about you. And I said, why? She said, you love Tara too much. If he dumps you, you're going to kill yourself. I want you to understand when a mom sees that and she comments on it, how intense my feelings with this man were. They were really intense. And so I say to myself, if I can survive that, I can survive anything. Bring it on.
And I would just like you to consider, Melody, that if anyone ever says anything like that to you again, even if it's your mother, to say,
I would tell her never to say that.
Yes, because essentially, look what she said to you, and really what happened, he didn't dump you, but he left you, and you did. If that person didn't reach out, it was like. So, okay, patience. So, stating clearly what it is you want, right? Finding that happy time where you're happy and everything's great, go for it. And I was saying to Melody the other day, but I saw this one little thing and I thought it was so cute, and I think it could work for you too. So if you want his attention and you say, honey, I need to have some emotional stability around these issues, whatever it is. I need to feel this regarding whatever it is in me. And for everything you tell me, for every one thing you tell me, I'll take off a piece of clothing.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That works. Yeah.
Right? Okay. And I bet you he'll be having fun. It'll be a little easier. You know what I mean? It could be the emotional stability game. No. Okay. have fun with it, but be honest about what it is you're concerned about.
And sometimes as well, if you know his love language, if you start to give him, and do the game, do the quiz, actually it's very helpful. It has helped me a lot with my girls lately. If you know his love language and you speak it to him in the way he understands love, it will make it easier when you express what you need for him to see, because he will see that you're giving him everything he needs, and he will want to give you everything that you need. It's always reciprocal. It's easier if you're giving it than to go and ask if you're not giving it.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Because if he likes things done and you're like, okay, so we're gonna do it.
Yes.
But we're gonna do it in a way that's gonna fill my needs first by, it can work. You just have to
Yeah, we're like the opposites in that respect. Like he just wants to do. He'll go and cook and do everything. He just wants to do and do and do. But I also just want that affirmation of, speak, say something. And like you're saying, Jacqueline, there, he's exactly possibly an image of your father. Everybody says, I love you, and then what happens?
Yeah.
100% of the world get married. I mean, 100% of the people who get married on the day they get married tell each other they'll love each other. And then 50% of them end up in divorce. So where's the love? And that's kind of, I can relate to what you're saying there about your father. But so what I'm saying is how I can understand on that part, but then how do I be accommodated in that situation? So I kind of understand where you're coming from, that I need to be looking at that, as Melody always talks about, the self-love, loving myself from within. And then, I'll try your trick as well, Jacqueline.
Well, Well, get creative, right? To me, is like, just think about it. So what is it you really need? Do you want him to say, you know what, like Melody talked the other day about you wanting a hug when he comes in the door, right? If that's the case, there's something you need to feel, that connection or grounding. Or when something's bothering you, that's when you need to have that, look, I just need you to listen to me instead of doing this. Then you have to, in that happy moment, right? And say, look, you know, when we're in this happy moment, maybe you're cooking with him or something, doing something with him. You go, you know how I'm doing this with me? Do you like it when I'm doing this with you? And if he says yes, that's a good time probably to bring it up.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
If he says, no, I actually don't like you in the kitchen.
Yeah, and I think part of this as well probably comes from past experiences.
Yes.
So again, it's going through that emotional healing of leaving the past in the past.
Yeah.
Yes, and understanding that, like, I also had to go through some instances where, and I saw myself manifesting it, because there was a period when I went through a time where I thought if I ever met a man again and started a relationship with him, he would still leave me in some way or form. And so he did leave, but I can see how I created that, because, well, that's what I believed at the time. Fortunately, I came to my senses, and now I don't believe that anymore. But some of it is you need to understand that if you keep going back to that thinking, this is what everyone is going to do to you, you are still giving power and energy to that person, which means you haven't really left them. Okay. And I know people are going to say, yeah, but you still talk about your husband 10 years later. I talk about him in the lessons I learned from him, but I'm not attached to him. He's totally gone. He's so gone out of my life. I don't even dream of him anymore. That's how far gone he is. But the lessons I learned from my relationship with him, that's what I am teaching people. And that's my only reference point, because I haven't really, I've used other examples, but I haven't dated anyone long enough to have built something as big as what I built with Taurai. Okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
And you can always do this for yourself, right? Is make a list of the things that you don't like, right? And in the sense of the things, because that's so easy for people, right? Usually, versus what you like. So you don't like the way he does this, and you don't like, or you wish you did that, right? And then you can look at that and say, well, what do I really want? Because most of the focus is on what you don't want.
Yeah.
So to say, look, I want this, then to notice, what does it feel like for you to even ask for that? Sometimes, you know, it's so much easier to say, oh, you're not doing this, and say, I need this, because when you say that, you all of a sudden feel this tension in your stomach, for instance.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, I don't want to feel that, right? So I'll just go back to this one that's easier. It's like working out.
Yeah.
You know, so switching it over and then saying, if this is what you want, and I mean, part of that is then the door opens and a new way is shown to you. But this will be great when you come back later on and tell us how this all turned out, because I can see that this is like what we were wanting, a coaching going on right here and now. And for anybody else that's watching, that's the idea, is like, you think it's just a simple little thing that you're dealing with, but really that simple little thing becomes a bigger thing if you don't deal with it.
Yeah.
Right?
Certainly. Yeah. I can just add to you writing a list. I made a vow at some point in my marriage, I can't remember at what point, that I would only focus on the good things that I did. And that's what I did. And so when we were talking with my friends, especially, I made a point when they were complaining about their boyfriends, husbands, I only said, Tara is great, he's great at this, he's great at that, he's great at this. And I did not talk about what he wasn't good at. And yet, he started getting good at everything. You know, even those things I used to think, sure, they irritate me, they just started to ease off. I wasn't irritated as much anymore. And, you know, things were working out. Because what you focus on expands. You need to know that.
Right. Okay, so does that, it starts out with saying, hey, we're different love languages, but ultimately, you really just want the love you want.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So deciding what does that love really look like versus what that love doesn't look like, because even to me in the love languages, you know, what people sometimes get caught up on is we're different love languages.
Yes.
Instead of saying, okay, we're different, but let's find how we're going to connect together, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So the reason I'm learning about it is so I can realize how it is something I can do that's going to catch your attention, and it's going to give me all that positive reinforcement. My mind has just got a whole bunch of possibilities here, Patience, and your mind just has to open.
Me too. Like, seriously, girl, you can do so much.
You know, there's
Mm.
and so any other questions, Patience?
No, I think that's the main question I had there. Yeah, so and I'm glad to get other things to get list and all notes taken.
Awesome.
Was
Okay.
it helpful?
Sorry,
Was it helpful?
it was very helpful indeed as always, Melody. Thanks very much. Thanks very much, Jacqueline.
Thank you for being here. Thank you for being here, Melody. And people want to get in touch with you. Where can they find you?
Heartfashioninstitute.com.
Because in your heart there's passion, and you'll find the Institute of Love.
Yes. Yes, indeed.
All right. Come back in a few more minutes and we'll have our next interview. And thanks again for everybody being here. Global Party, healed from the inside out. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.